Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello and welcome to Hockey Night in Australia. This is our second episode. We really appreciate your support last week with our debut episode. Of course, we are talking all AIHL action, live show. If you want to leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube, you can join in the discussion as well. We will wrap up the weekend's action. We will look to the week ahead. We'll discuss game of the week and some other interesting things happening around the league. And if you can't watch the video, you can, of course, watch a replay. And you can also download it as a podcast via Spotify, via Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio. My name is Gordon Goodenough, and I'm joined by Andrew McDougall, Courtney Kynaston, and Sean O'Connor. Welcome along. How are we doing, everyone?
Good. What a week in hockey we had.
Yeah, been fantastic.
I'm just excited and wrapped that you've got another suit jacket on. So this is now officially a tradition, GG, that you wear a suit jacket for every episode of Hockey Night in Australia.
And it's going to be a different one too, right? Like this is his second one, different one in a row. Like he's now going to have a different one every week.
Look, we're working out. I'm working out the combinations with Katie and Tilly. They're both my stylists and fashion consultants. But yeah, it's setting a vibe. We've got some good morning from Corey Katina in Minnesota. Tori Diver, who I have to apologize to because I think I called her Tori Driver last week. I used to have a property manager in Canberra whose name was Tori Driver. So I'm sorry about that, Tori. Good evening, Phil Taylor. Third comment this time, Phil. You're slipping, mate. And Andrew John Higgin, the reversible suit jacket. It's the reverse side is Pluckaduck. So yeah. Thank you for your kindness, Tori, and understanding. But yeah, first of all, happy birthday to Andrew McDougall, who turned an age yesterday. How are you feeling, buddy? You've already had some leftover pizza.
Yeah, I have. I reheated some pizza before tonight's show. So that was all right. As I said before, it saves paying for another meal. Times are tough, GG. The funds are all going into Hockey Hype Australia, so I'm living off reheated pizza now.
Yeah, well, get used to pizza, buddy. And we've got some comments in the chat. Thank you, Nathan. I'm going to pass that feedback on to Katie and Tilly because I've got no style. Happy birthday from Jessica Calder. Thank you, Jessica. Melissa Lee, happy birthday as well. Good evening from Sarah Goodwin. Lucas Sarasani, g'day, folks. Khan the Thunder. We will get on to the Thunder a little bit in the show, of course. Daryl Evans, fine. And happy birthday, Andrew, from Sarah Goodwin. So this is what we're going to go through, just a brief run through of things. We're going to go through the results from the weekend. We'll have a look at the standings, and there was a little bit of movement at the bottom of the rule rack and top of the Hellier. We'll get to that. We'll have a look at the Melbourne Ice's best start to a season in team history. The Bears being on top of the league, game of the week, and then a round 8 preview. So lots to look at. We've got first-time goal scorers, first-time winners as well. So what do you reckon? Should we go straight into the standings the results? Nathan Graham, happy birthday, Dukes. Courtney, take us away.
Yeah, it was quite a week in hockey, I think, with a lot of quite a few wins that shocked a few people. So I think the North Stars had a big win with the 8-goal differential between Brisbane Lightning, and of course seeing the Rhinos up the Mustangs was was nice for Rhinos fans out there. I think just seeing them be so competitive, which we've commented on last week. And of course, I think the big one, and we'll go into more detail later, the Perth finally killing off that Melbourne Ice streak.
Yeah,
So
some
it was-
big results.
It was such a big game. I was
Look,
really worried from the
yeah.
first night on Saturday when the Ice shut out Perth that, here we build it up as the big series of the weekend and it's going to be all one way. But then to come back the next night and just produce that result, amazing.
I think as a North Stars fan, it's always nice to see them walk away as a winner, and they really had to strip back and just play basic structure and really find their feet again after having a bit of a cold slump there for a couple of weeks. So that was nice. Look, something that stood out with the Rhinos Mustangs to me watching that game was that their penalty kill was incredibly offensive. They ended up with two short-handed goals, but their special teams on the other end, they also got 2 power play goals. So that third period was a lot of penalties both sides, but the Rhinos were the ones that were able to come out on top.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a third period like that before.
No, neither.
I think when you look at those Saturday games, apart from the Lightning and the North Stars, all of them, and I know the Thunder got shut out, but all of them are really close, tight games. And that's to start off a Saturday and start off a weekend with a 7-6, a 4-0. You take out that North Stars Lightning game, a 5-3, a 4-3 with a derby. That's a massive Saturday to kickstart the weekend.
Yeah, that. Oh no, sorry, Sean. You go.
It kind of continues a trend that we've seen over the last couple of weekends, where we've had a lot more close games than we have probably for the last 2 years since we come back from COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as some, you kind of cheer for storylines, and I was doing the commentary for the color commentary for the Bears Ice Dogs game, and the Ice Dogs, were up 3-0 after the first 8 minutes, and you're like, you are cheering for the storyline, and that is this the game that the Ice Dogs can stop the 14-game losing streak in the Sydney Derby. And I think a competitive Sydney Derby is good for the league, and that was competitive. And Andrew's just put me on by myself here, so I'm off the soapbox, mate. I've taken the hint, but I just thought it was a great showing. Some defensive lapses in the second period. I think the Ice Dogs will take a look at and kind of regret. Chris Eden was all alone on 2 goals. But yeah, it was a really tight game.
I was really sad to see the Ice Dogs actually sort of collapse in that, especially that second period where they were very flat, considering they did get up 3-0. And I looked at my phone and saw that they were 3-0 up and went, "This is brilliant." Went on, was watching other games, and then next thing I know, I look back and they're behind. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Jason Quisler, who I phoned Saturday morning. I just sent him a message and said, "Hey, are you free to chat just for comments for commentary tonight?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And I gave him a call, and he was in hospital. He'd had sports hernia operation Friday and was waiting to be discharged, and he was still on the bench. So you feel for Jason. They almost took away the points. Cameron Todd scored a beauty deflection goal, but yeah, it was the Bears came out
once again.
I was really impressed with the Rhinos on Saturday with that result against the Mustangs. I felt like the Rhinos played really, really well. And I know I wrote about it when I had my piece on the Rhinos this week. It was Andrew Smarden, Hayden Sayers, Mackenzie Bolger line were just everywhere. And I was super impressed with Connor Wardlaw. I think Connor Wardlaw is really impressive and only getting better every single week. Just finds himself in the right positions, really composed in and around behind the net, behind the goaltender, doesn't panic, and is able to sort of just make the right decisions. And when you've got NHL caliber players like Timmins who have played in the NHL before sort of coming at you, and you got skilled people like Vadim Vajazov as well on the puck, to see that composure from someone like Connor is really impressive.
No, I definitely agree. And I think that you mentioned Andrew Smarden there, and he played with Newcastle a couple of games last year. He's a very intelligent player. He's very calm and very composed with how he goes out and skates. And that Saturday game really showcased that. The way he came in supporting Bert Malloy and that goal that he got was just gorgeous, because he just sat on the back end, got the rebound and just dropped it straight in the back. So I think players like that get to have that ice time with the young locals like Bolger, it's great to see the Rhinos expanding.
How do you think? Oh no, so I was just going to ask Courtney, with the because the youth of the Rhinos and them playing young players is so noticeable.
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of Bert Malloy. What does a guy like Bert Malloy kind of bring to that dressing room and the ice?
I could only say great things about Bert. He brings a calmness to the team from all my experience of seeing him in Newcastle, and I think he can just bring that composure, calm them down, make sure they know what job they need to do, but most of all, build them up. Like, they had a pretty tough season last season, and in those moments where they might not be feeling quite like that stronger mindset, I think he can bring that back and tune them back into the game that they need to be playing.
I know, GG. There was a tiny little bit of backlash with my article, but with the Rhinos, when I was down in the tunnel and I was waiting to speak to Ron, the vibe in the dressing room with the Rhinos, I know they had a big win, but the vibe in the dressing room with the Rhinos is off the charts. So I think they've got something good going there, and I think it's starting to turn from second year back now, after a massive layoff where the club wasn't in the top national competition. The vibes seem really good, and I was just pleased for them.
Doogie, how much of that do you reckon comes down to Ron and him coming into the club system there?
I think it plays a pretty big role. When I was speaking to Ron, and he just mentioned how they were a bit more serious. There's a little bit more professionalism compared to last season, and Ron's got a massive, I suppose, track record in the AI, as well, has been successful, well respected. So it plays a massive role.
And you mentioned in your 5 Things article, Doogie, that line, Andrew Smarden, Hayden Sayers, Mackenzie Bolger. What did you see from them, and what kind of chemistry they have?
They were just everywhere. Every time I looked up, I felt like they were out on the ice. That's what it came across to me anyway, and it felt like they were driving a lot of the offense for the Rhinos. And they had 8 points between the three of them. They picked up 8 points across that Saturday game in the win. So it felt like they were really. It just felt like every sort of second shift I was looking up and they were out there, and they were just causing havoc and pushing the offense.
Any other comments on the results this week? Anything from you, Sean?
I'm just looking at some of these comments from the fans here. There's one from Jeff about Ashita and Bertan, best goalies in the league. I mean, that is a storyline which I think is just going to keep developing over the entirety of the season. And that photo that Cassandra took on the weekend of them shaking hands, I just thought that's such a memorable moment of AI history just there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Another pair of games that stood out to me were the Brave versus Adelaide. So seeing the Braves sort of turn their season around a little bit, they've had a bit of trouble, and but that game on Sunday, and particularly from Alex Tetro in net, was just phenomenal. And he's by far one of my favourite local goalies in our competition. And I just thought those 2 games, Brave worked hard and they just didn't stop, and they looked so resilient. Even going to shootout in that first game on Saturday, and then backing it up and having a good win on Sunday I thought was great to see.
Like, it was really great, really great. It was a barnstormer on Saturday. Either team could have won that game in the end, but the Brave getting that win was so vital for their confidence. You could tell just the very next day just how much more in control they were of that game against Adelaide on Sunday compared to Saturday. And, I think it really could be that sort of turning point for the season for the Brave.
Got Andrew John Egan, who comments that Adelaide have been stiff. Yeah. Doogie, sorry.
No, I was just going to say I've I've got a clip here of Tyler Kabara from the Sunday game. I don't know if you want to run it now. It was a really important. It was a really important stage, I think, of the second period. There's about 4 minutes to go, and Adelaide were on top in that second period. And Tyler Kabara just made a massive back check and just a bit of a stick lift on Best just to break up basically a clear scoring opportunity.
Noah Maley got knocked down in the neutral zone.
Yeah, you might just see it here. It looks like Fahmy comes across. No, this is the 2-on-1 from earlier, so good chance here for Maley to thread the needle there to Best, and you can see Tetro. He did drop slightly early on that one, but he took everything away from Steve Best. So it's a really good, confident goaltending move there to stay on top of the crease, and
it was also a nice back check, just to put that little bit of pressure on the shooter there.
Absolutely.
When I watched that and I seen that play happen, I thought to myself, when that's happening with the Brave and players like Tyler Kabara, I just felt like, okay, the Brave are back now. Like they're dialed in, they're switched on, they're ready to go. When I see those sort of plays on the ice.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. We've got just some comments in the chat. Phil Taylor, game respecting game. Cassandra Edwards' photo was a cracker. Yeah, it was indeed. They put on this is about Ashita and Bertien. They put on a skill show over the weekend, glorious to watch from Natasha Denton. She also tuned in late and said, did we discuss yet how I called it, that Thunder would stop the ice in their tracks? Good call, Natasha. And Corey Katina from earlier, just saying that it's time for another Melbourne Ice winning streak.
I'm pretty sure that's what Kerry said last night as well.
Yeah,
a loss just means you can restart a new streak.
Have we seen Corey Coutinho and Kerry Goulet in the same room together? Jeffrey Allen Roth. Glad Thunder won Sunday. So many penalties is Thunder's issue this season. Yeah, it doesn't help. And again, from Paul Finesse, Adelaide around the net were relentless on Saturday.
Kadelka was so impressive again for Adelaide. I can't get over how much this kid has made such a big impression quickly in South Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you reckon? Should we go to the standings now?
Yep. 100%. Which conference you want to look at first?
Let's look at the what Phil Taylor described earlier today as the Are You OK conference.
That's brilliant, Phil.
Shout out to Phil. I've got to credit him for his photos and his puns. But yes, the Rurak. So the North Stars still at the top on 22 points. The Lightning, they banked their points early. They've been stuck on 11 for a couple of weeks now. The Rhinos on 9 in that, still holding on to that final playoff spot based on games in hand. The Brave also on 9, and Adrenaline, they are now went from 4th to 5th, swapping with the Brave, stuck on 6. Courtney, you've got a little stat for us too.
Yeah, look, I really feel for the Adrenaline at this point in the season. On a 8-game cold streak, it'd be nice to see them snap out of that. I don't know that it doesn't feel competitive if you've got teams that are just constantly losing, and it can lead to complacency from whoever's coming up against them. So, I think it'd be good to see them snap out of that and sort of make their way back up.
Oh, I couldn't agree more with that. But the thing is, there's a big difference between their losing streak this season at the moment compared to what they were doing last season, where they went on long stretches without winning, is the fact that they're being very competitive. I mean, you can tell from the standings, they've had 3 overtime losses. Like, they've been so close to getting wins on the board. So their fans would be very frustrated at the fact that they're last in the standings at this stage, but they will be happy with the improvements that they've been able to progress this season. And, there's points which are still being scored slowly, but could be scored a bit quicker coming soon.
You've got a feel for Ryland Toth. Like, he's listed on the AIHL website. They've credited him with a shutout in that game against the Rhinos and still yet to record a win.
A shutout and no win. Whoa.
What I think what is it now? Six games that the adrenaline of it's been decided by one goal.
Yeah.
6 games out of their 9.
Yeah.
So that's just massive, absolutely massive. And when I look at those standings, I think the Brave will start to climb and start looking towards the North Stars. I really do. And I think there's going to be a really good battle between the Rhinos, the Lightning, and the Adrenaline as the season progresses.
I think another important stat to note is that the Rhinos have surpassed their points for the season than what they got in the entirety of last year. So last year they got a total of 5 points, and we're still this early into 2024, and they're sitting on 9. So I think that's got to be great for morale and just moving forward into next weekend.
Yeah, it's great. 3 wins. Gotta love it.
And Courtney, can we put you on the spot here? North Stars, couple of performers, Riley Klugerman, Matthew Montgomery.
Yeah, wow. First of all, I love having a local goalie in net and get a win on his first AI career win. So very proud and very happy for him with that, and along with a lot of our fans. And look, Klugs is just, everyone loves him. I don't hear a bad word about him, and he's a lot of fun in the locker room. And just to have him come back to his first game and get a hat trick was that was fun. But definitely don't want to sideswipe our 2 new imports as well, Alex and Kyla, who both got doubles on the weekend. So it was a game of milestones. And Brisbane Lightning, Luca Umet, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but he also got his first AI goal. So there's a lot of milestones in one game there.
Yeah, and great work from the photographers, Jess Fuller and Jamison Amali, who captured those moments. We've got in the comments, Monty from Christian Fehrenbach. Yeah, first AIHL win, and he was so good in the AJ. He didn't start. He wasn't the starter for Sydney last year at the start of the tournament, but he took over and beat the Sun Devils 5-2. In his first game starting, and then lost to a stacked Generals team in the final. I think Matthew Montgomery, he certainly seems to have a bright future.
Absolutely, and he works hard in everything he does. He puts everything on the line, and he's just go. So, and we've got the East Coast team as well, where both him and Ethan Speld have opportunities to play. So when they're not necessarily getting the ice time on in the AI team, they're still getting a lot of opportunities at that level to make them match fit.
Yeah, Courtney, I was going to ask, has he come through the local system at Newcastle?
Yeah. So over the last few years, he's worked his way up through the different levels, and it's been great seeing him get the opportunities at AI level. And speaking to Coach Kev Noble after the game last week, he said Monty just brings a calmness to the locker room and to the back of the ice there. So the 5 players in front of him at whatever shift, he can just see a different style in the team, just knowing he's got that just calm, cool, collected head in the back, and that he'll be all over it.
We've got some love in the North Stars in the chat. Sarah Goodwin up the North Stars. Tori Diver, Monty, Jess Fallout, Monty as well. Popular guy, and Peter Lambert, we met for Luca. I believe he was a Southern Stars player up in Queensland. Monty did absolutely fantastic. Yes, from Sarah. And the chants for Monty were so amazing at the rink. That's from Tori Diver. So, yeah, very popular. Some other comments we missed. Well done to the Rhinos from Mark Hopwood. Corey Katina breaking down. Adelaide needs to find their scoring touch with the exception of Saturday against Canberra. They've been one of the better defensive teams, but the offense just hasn't been there. I think it's hard to disagree with that. And Mark Hopwood, welcome back, Riley Klugerman. Any final thoughts before we move on to the next conference?
Yeah, just while we're on the North Stars, just so everyone is aware, Aiden Wagner is still in the top 5 of the points leaders.
He's 4th, isn't he? Is he 4th or 5th?
He's 5th.
Yeah.
That is amazing. What a start to the season that kid had.
That's ridiculous.
So let's move on to what Phil Taylor calls the Hell Yeah conference.
The Are You Okay and Hell Yeah, I love it.
So we've got some movement at the top. The Bears have leapfrogged the Melbourne Ice. Of course, the Ice do have a game in hand, as Ice fans were quick to point out on the post. The Thunder in third place on 21, Mustangs on 14, Ice Dogs on 11.
What a
Gee,
What are your
conference.
thoughts? Yeah.
It's unreal.
The Ice Dogs have been so competitive, yet are last. Like it feels crazy that they're last. But then you look at the other teams in the conference and you go, well, yeah, they're also having great times things right now.
Ice Dogs are sixth in the league and fifth in the conference.
It tells you so much this season at the moment, right? Like we're what, a third of the way through, a little bit over, and yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, I tell you, it is nice to see see how close things are at the top though. Like this is a real battle to see who's gonna win this conference this year.
Oh yeah, those games between that collection of any games between intra-conference games between these clubs are 6-pointers. Like,
yeah,
so valuable.
Well, you look at that gap from the Thunder down. So unless there's an absolutely massive collapse, I can't see the Ice or the Bears not in the playoffs or not in the finals. So from the Thunder down, it's on the Ice Dogs and the Mustangs now, like to claw back the Thunder in the next part of the season. It's a big task at hand for both of those clubs.
But I think the Mustangs have shown so much improvement over the last couple of weeks too, Doogie. Like they seem to have found a lot more rhythm than they had at the start of the season.
Yeah, and what they had on the weekend, well, especially on Sunday, and it was what GG brought up last week about secondary scoring. They got that on Sunday. So if they can continue that, then that's going to hold them in good stead for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I was so impressed by Verhasov's performance in that game. Like he was just putting everyone through constantly.
We've got some comments in the chat. Phil Cass thanking Phil for the love. Mark Hood about the name of the conference, I believe, and Sarah Goodwin as well. Natasha Denton, can someone explain to a noob how the teams in the conferences were decided? Hellier seems awfully win heavy. I have no idea, Natasha. I think that there were some thoughts it was based on travel, but I don't actually know. I have no idea.
If it was really about travel, you would have just had like all the Sydney teams, Newcastle, Central Coast, and Canberra in one team, and everyone else somewhere in the other conference.
Mark Hopwood looking forward to the return, I believe, this weekend between the North Stars and the Bears. North Stars travel up to Sydney. A lot more overtime games in Rurak. Cited from Andrew John Egan. And shout out to Thunder's pre-game stream intro, best intro, Cassandra Edwards. Yes, and the commentators mentioned us and our show as well, the Perth commentators, and said that it was a useful resource for them. So that's
they also mentioned AI fans. That was so cool.
yeah, all your great work, Sean. So yeah, that was good. But we've got this graphic up, Doogie. Talk to us.
Just
top of the league.
Yeah, the Bears just continue to get it done, and they're just improving and getting better. And when you're rolling someone like Matsukane into the team, like it's just he just slots in. And GG, you mentioned it when he was at training, the first training session, just looked absolutely elite out on the ice. And then rolling into the first AI games, it's just been unbelievable on the blue line. And then in the last 4 weeks, or the last 5 games or something like that for the Bears, they've won 3. They had a stretch there where they won 3 games consecutive on the road. So that's massive as well to get road wins like that back to back or 3 in a row. And that just highlights why they're at the top of the standings.
Yeah, I loved the Lucas Herman a goal that Matsukane dropped off for him, and then after the goal, Lucas Herman is there celebrating with doing the little heart gesture to Matsukane. Have a look on the Sydney Bears socials for that video if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Any other thoughts? Great graphic to shout out to Sean O'Connor from AI Fans who designed this for us.
I just love it. There's
And-
so many great photos of the fans, and I couldn't help myself this week. I'm like, nah, got to put the fans for first and foremost into this because like they're just loving it.
And that was Willie Krause who took that photo. Matt Hardigan took this photo. Best ever start to a nice season.
I was on Gooch Live last night, and Kerry asked me what my surprise was for the season, and the Melbourne Ice was one of the surprises that I had for this season. And I did say to Kerry on his show that even if you were the most optimistic Ice fan, I don't think you would have expected this start to the season. And when you think about the Melbourne Ice teams that won three-peats and they never had a start like this to the season, it's quite phenomenal.
You're 100% right there, Doogie. Like it's an unbelievable. I wasn't expecting this either. I thought coming into the season, it'd be interesting to see how the Ice compared to the Ice Dogs because they were so evenly matched last year. And I just thought we'll see how they go this year. And yeah, the Ice have just they've blitzed the entire league. It's to start with, but you know they've been kept pegged with the by the Bears, so that's good. But yeah, it's quite unbelievable the difference from last season to this season. And we thought they had firepower last season when they had Schutz and Klopper and all that. But like, yeah, it's just Austin came into the team this last weekend, and like he looks like he's just part of the furniture of that team already. Like he's just clicking straight away and scoring goals.
Yeah, and how good is Jamie Bork as like a net front presence, like causing havoc? He's he against Perth. He was living in the blue paint.
And they are expecting Roman Kramer next week as well.
Yeah, I think it's great to get Roman, but I actually thought he did really well last year. So I'm glad that they've brought back some of who they had over last year.
Just some comments. Mark Hopwood, just want to give a shout for Ethan Hawes. He's carving them up and is well overdue for a goal. He's always in on the action in the play for the North Stars, isn't he?
Very much so.
He's been really good, and you know you can tell when there's a lot of photos of a player from the photographers, you know that they're impacting the game. And geez, every time I go through Jamison O'Malley and Jess Fuller's photos, there's a ton of Ethan Hawes in there, like controlling the play.
Yeah,
and I will say
he's a favourite, and he did so well overseas, so it's been good having him back in the lineup.
I will say too, GG, when I did that big feature article back when we were with the Sanctum, and Tori Diver helped me get in contact with Ethan, and I can officially say this now that I'm 40 years old, GG, that Ethan Hawes not only a great ice hockey player but a terrific kid. Like really, just unbelievable person.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. If you haven't seen in our stories after the game, he just puts so much time into the kids, and they love him. And he's like signing things after every game, encouraging them to play. And yeah, he's lovely.
We've got Tori Diver with some love for that comment. Just catching up with some others. Nathan Graham showing some appreciation for your graphics, Sean. Always quality work, Sean. Thank you. Corey Katina talk about jumping straight in. Austin Albrecht 6 points in his opening weekend. Definitely. Jeffrey Allen Roth. I don't think it's a two-horse race for the Hellier as the Thunder can overtake the Ice or Bears in the next few weeks. Unfair for who gets forward to miss playoffs. Like the Thunder, when you look at their record, they're like there are a lot of teams bogey team the Perth Thunder. And they match up really well against the Bears in Sydney. They seem to send the home crowd away.
So we be talking about finals now being expanded to 8 teams. So there's the top 4 of each conference getting through.
We should just do a top 5 of each conference for the finals. It's yeah.
Just on the
Crispy
Bears. Just on the Bears, GG Kraus Sports Photography on Instagram. Go Bears! Don't think they have hit 6th gear yet. Watch out.
Yeah, that's Willie Krause. If you're not following Willie Krause or Krause Sports Photography on Facebook or Instagram, give him a follow. Same for Jess Fuller, her photos. Jamison O'Malley, Matt Hardigan Phil Taylor, Mish Boxcar, Paul Finesse. Geez, there's a lot of photographers, but they need some love. Ashley Hayes, photographer, Frank Kutch, Hugh Whittle.
So many.
We
should actually we should actually post something up. We can post up a list.
We should. Slippery Pixel photography in Brisbane and Jason Boland. Yeah, we'll post something. We've got some comments. Crispy was fantastic last year. Great to have him back. That's from Andrew John Egan. Kira Lee Mayers, he's such a lovely person. Always happy to have a chat with my little one after the game about Ethan Hawes. Tori Diver Hozzy, one of the most genuine young kids I've ever met. Yep, Jason Boland from Phil Taylor. Yeah. Final thoughts?
Just jumping back to the comment about Perth might be able to jump up the table a little bit in the next few weeks. The North Stars come up against Perth 3 times between now and the 9th of June. So I think we're going to be tested a bit. In between those games, we face Melbourne Ice. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where we land up against those two who are clearly they're battling it out for their place in their conference. And it'll be interesting to see if we can stand up to them.
But it's an exciting cross-conference challenge for both teams because the North Stars are looking better and better now, especially with players like Alls back and with Riley Klugerman back. It just adds an extra dimension to their game.
Yeah.
We've got some people agreeing from about Court. Yeah, Court from Tory Diver and Mark Hopwood as well. And Sharon Della Costa, Cassandra Edwards, and Ashley Hayes photography from Thunder. Yes, definitely. They do exceptional work over there. It's massive. It's a massive help for us. George Hayne in and David Tate in Canberra, as well as Paul Finesse that we mentioned. But we did have a question from Jeffrey Allen Roth, who said, with the AIHL finals being six, then it's obviously the top 3 from each conference. His comment, I feel with the Hellier being the hard group, that it will be unfair for whoever comes fourth in that group because they will have more points than third and even possibly second in the Rurak come finals time. What's your thoughts? A brief comment on...
I'm not convinced that there'll be that a team that is coming fourth in one conference will have more than the team coming second in the other conference. I think you're going to find the Brave especially are going to pick up quite a bit more points now. And so I'm not convinced that will happen, but it is a fair question in the fact that last season we saw both conferences end fairly competitively, like it was fairly even. But this season, especially for the finals places, but this season at the moment, it's a bit lopsided.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yep.
I was just going to say, I don't think. No, you're right, mate. I don't think Adelaide. You can't keep losing these 1-goal games. Like it's and Adelaide will fancy themselves in Melbourne this weekend too. Like they're playing well. So I can't see them not racking up points as the season progresses as well.
Yeah, and I mean, even against the Brave, they still got a point on the weekend. They didn't come away with nothing. So, yeah, they'll keep going.
And Tory Diver, good point. Isn't that the way NHL works? Yeah, you often have, historically, you've had like maybe a stronger Western Conference than the Eastern Conference. I guess with the NHL, you do have the divisions where, you know, it's the top 3 and then the next best 2 teams from both conferences. So whether that changes to be the top 2 from each conference and then the next best two teams, I don't know. We don't have a lot of influence there. But this one, it might be for you, Sean, because you did an AIHL finals article. With what will be the setup? Will it be who finishes first in each group get the bye for the Friday's games, and then second in Hellier played third Rurak and vice versa? And then Saturday, the winners of those 2 games play the first place team who had the bye, and then the 2 winners facing off in Sunday's finals. What's your kind of take?
Yeah, look, I mean, the league has been keeping this very close to their chest. They haven't released anything. I haven't heard any rumors coming out about it. So the actual makeup of it is going to be interesting. I mean, there's 5 games. We know there's definitely 5 games. I would imagine they will probably still have the winners from each conference going straight through to the semi-finals and not playing on the Friday. I don't know if they're going to do the conference switch. I think the conference switch last year was a bit controversial. Although now it's all on one weekend, so I don't know. I would imagine it's probably going to be very similar to last year, just maybe without the conference switch, and then you can actually have a conference final. I think it's personally a better way to do it.
Yeah, good. I hope that answers your question, Jeffrey. And Andrew John Egan, the coach, as always. Adelaide need the secret plan, score more goals than the opposition in the allotted time for play. Always coming up with the goods.
Don't go to shootout in Adelaide. That's what they need. They need to win in regulation or overtime.
And thanks for the question, Jeffrey. Appreciate the message. It's going to make that battle at the top of the hull even more important. Yeah, I agree.
I do hope the league does release this information like relatively soon. Like, to me, it seems crazy that we could be kept in the dark for such a long time regarding this, because we just don't know how teams are really faring. I don't know. Someone did mention to me the other day that, it comes down to a bit of integrity in this, and I tend to agree that it would be better if this thing is laid out in the public soon.
Yeah. We've got Big Ice Pete. He does wonderful commentary. Changing rules mid-season isn't fair either. What if two of the Rurak teams suddenly become the form teams in the league? Adjusting for form is a tail-chasing exercise. Yeah, it's a good comment.
Well, last season they also they kept some information about who was going to host those play-in finals for such a long time, because I don't think they quite knew what would work best, and so it was kind of a late decision of where they wanted to host those final games, and that also came regarding the actual crossover too. I personally don't know, but this is what I envisaged happened.
Did we want to roll some highlights, Doogie? What do you reckon?
Yeah, mate, we've got a few highlights here. We had a heap of hat-tricks across the weekend, and we had 78 goals, so there was going to be some hat-tricks in there. We had 5 people score hat-tricks, and obviously one of those players was Riley Klugerman, and we've got the final goal, a hat-trick goal from the weekend.
Minutes remaining, 8-0 North Stars. Here's Drolet. Drolet with it now. To Klugerman in front. Riley Klugerman through the hats. North Stars fans, that's Riley Klugerman's hat-trick. Welcome back, Ryan.
Well, if you've got a pass that good from Drolet, you'd be kicking yourself if you didn't finish it with the hat-trick. That was another magic pass from Francis Drolet. Right on the tape, right to the man. He had the option to Matthews too. Matthews was waiting in the wheelhouse for a big slap shot. Didn't have to. Klugerman was coming sneaking right to the back post, and boom.
Really good goal and a really good pass too. Just a nice pass.
I feel like that clip highlights the caliber of goalies across the league, that a lot of the time the goals that happen are the ones where you have that quick pass across the front of the net and you're going into the back door rather than shooting at them.
Yeah, and it was a good call from Eric and Pete.
Yeah, it was. We've also got Austin Cangelosi's goal against Adelaide on the weekend, which it's got to be up there for one of the goals of the season.
Tie right. Elder tries to carry one down low, but it's poked out. And off goes Cangelosi shorthanded. Cangelosi with some speed. What a goal by Austin Cangelosi. His second shorthanded goal of the weekend, and Canberra strike first.
Yeah, it's again that power on that skating. It's unmatched. Bit of a bad turnover by Adelaide there. And again, it's just, you still want to play smart hockey even on a power play. That is unnecessary play.
Yeah, you're going to see here, despite the small frame, he does a really good job of putting the puck on the opposite side of his body to tie right, and that gives so much protection there. And then coming in on Toth as well, he makes the fake move, gets Toth to bite, and then just puts it right over him. Really good play from Jesse.
He made Toth look like an amateur. It's such a great goal. I love watching that goal.
It's got everything. It's got everything in it. Like just the pass, obviously on the power play, Adelaide, the pass is no good, but to collect that in the neutral zone and then to drive to the net, use your left hand with the stick just to balance and hold off the defender on the right-hand side, and then to pull up and to lift it and go top shelf is just phenomenal.
His stick handling is amazing. It really is a pleasure to watch.
And his edge work, like, in tight, just insane. Like, when number 88 is on the ice for the Brave, he's been really involved this year. And what a great call from another great commentary team. On Saturday, we had Eric Bolner, we had Sammy Manter, and Jeremy Friedrich. Like, how good was that? Like, it was such a good commentary team.
Yeah, they were on fire.
Yeah, shout out to Jeremy. I was thoroughly impressed, and I always like when players jump into commentary because they bring a different insight to what's going on, and just even the terminology, the things they say and things they know that they can share. It's brilliant. I loved it.
I could listen to Eric all day on the commentary,
especially his pronunciation of players' names as well. It's great.
We do have a video, GG, of we've got a couple of funny videos here. So we can roll the first one. It was just a quick video from the Canberra Brave Adelaide game. Just those Adelaide boards just causing havoc.
Depositing Jacob Carey into the ground, and Carey then took a run at Julian Friedrich after the fact. Funny bounce. Oh my goodness. Diving back is Jared Siemens to save a goal.
Funny.
Who'd want to be a goaltender, honestly?
I remember Jason Quisler saying, because there was a goal that Adelaide scored against Arvid Lung where it like rebounded off the netting, like really weird and behind the net. And then Julian Friedrich had like a tap in, and Lung's like complaining, and Jason's response is just like, "Welcome to Australia, buddy." Like, get used to it. This is what happens.
The final video we got here, we did talk about this before we went live on air, and it seems like it's a trend now since we started Hockey Night in Australia that we've got some coaches blowing off a gasket. So we had Kerry Goulet during last week's episode, and then on the weekend just gone, Ron Kaprowski, not happy with the officiating.
Himself in a similar predicament and position to where he was with Kerry Goulet last week.
Let's have another look at it, because, I mean, maybe I misread that. Ron's losing it.
Jeff Klink.
Give that man the Oscar right now.
And Phil Taylor has got some awesome photos of this interaction with Ron, and they're so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
but that's it, JJ.
Yeah, no, sweet. Let's next segment. Let's rip through this, mate. Go through. What do we have next? We've got game of the week.
Game of the week.
Do we have game of the week? Are we going to talk about that, or we've kind of? I guess we should just quickly.
We can throw up the graphic, but we've discussed it a fair bit.
Quite a lot. Yeah.
We had the two that you put up on the socials and got people to vote. I don't know how the voting's going. One of you might know the voting, but these are the two games that the Adelaide Brave, obviously 7-6, and the Ice and the Thunder 5-6. That Brave game and Adelaide game, the adrenaline came from behind 3 times to level it up. And we had 3 players that finished with 4 points, 3 players that finished with 3 points. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah. I think from an entertainment factor, Brave Adrenaline wins out. From a standings significance factor, it's the Thunder Ice. It just depends where your bias lies, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's amazing to have a 5-6 game, right, in a blockbuster, like, sort of top of the pile kind of game. But yeah, the entertainment value from that Brave Adrenaline game, unbelievable.
My 2 cents on the Thunder and Ice game is, it's just a little bit nice to see a winning streak come to an end.
That's great for the league.
We do have a video clip if you want to run it, GG, of the Ice and the final horn on that Sunday game. We can run that.
Let's do it. Let's get people angry at us.
Thunder trying to get control of it. They get it to the front of the net. And good stick by Kennedy. And that's it. That'll do it. 6-5 the final as the Thunder weather a late storm from the Melbourne Ice. And that ends the Ice's winning streak at 10 games. Hard fought third period from both teams. And a well-deserved win by the Perth Thunder in this game, I thought.
So the streak ends. The Thunder celebrate, and they get a big home win.
That was so exciting too. Like, that you could tell just how much it meant to the Thunder team to get that win. Like, they know now, no matter what else happens in the season, on their day, they can beat the Melbourne Ice, which means they could go home and win the cup this year.
Yeah. We talked about them last week with the balance that they have in the team. That line with Addison and Jones clicking, it's pretty fun to watch. We've got Tory Diver. I'm so sorry, Tory. Best result of the weekend. Go Thunder. We've got Thunder as a player coach of Broly's as the plot he'll be put in the sin bin. Man, wouldn't that be fascinating? We've got some love for Cangelosi from Steve Moller. Showed great skills and potential in both games. Natasha, I was attending the penalty box that game, super intense game. John Kennedy looked better in North Stars Blue. Making friends. And Barad for Thunder's rolling now fast. He looked good. He looked good. Like the Thunder imports look good.
Yeah, well, that's really good to actually see, because I was a bit worried that they didn't have that other, super scorer and high scoring player on their team past Addison, and they got the secondary scoring going now, and now they've added another forward from the Asia League. So, yeah.
I was just about to say that, and maybe Sean, you might be able to add a bit more to this as well. So they've just signed Yu Haikosaka. I think that's how you pronounce it. A Japanese import, which I don't necessarily, or I've never seen him play, but on paper and the numbers, looks like a really, really good signing for the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, he's a recent Japanese international, and Japan are a very good national team. I think they're in Division 1A, I think, or pretty high anyway. And my understanding is that this has been a signing that Ashita has organized. So Ashita, he's blowing up the league in Japan and getting everyone over. I love it.
Yeah, and he's increasing our Twitter following too, Ashita. So
yeah. How many Japanese players have we now got in our league?
4, 5.
When last year we had 1.
Yeah. I think I would be surprised. I think next season, I think every team's going to have an Asian import next season, and maybe 2. Like, maybe they forego the 10-point North American import slot, and just if you can get a top scorer from the Asia League, man, they're performing.
And the fact that they cost less points to have on your team than the North American and European imports. I mean, you could build up a team with some FIFO players, maybe, you have that ability to be able to change up your point system. So cool.
Yeah, we've got Natasha Dent-Ashita bringing all his mates over. He's been releasing news like nobody's business. Tatsunoshi Nishida. Follow him on socials for all your AIHL news. Like seriously, he's been great.
It's unbelievable.
All right, what have we got?
We only got
last?
the only thing we got last is the preview. GG.
Yeah, take it away, Sean. What's coming up this weekend?
All right, so this weekend, everyone, we have all 10 teams playing. We have 10 games this weekend. This is the first time in AI history that we've got 10 games in 2 days. Unbelievable stuff. It's wall-to-wall hockey. We've also got games starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't think we've ever had games at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But what it means is for anyone who wants to watch at home, for instance, you can sit down at 1 o'clock to start AI hockey, and you have a session all the way to like 7, 8 o'clock at night. That's like 6 to 7 hours of AI hockey action back to back. That is music to my ears. What else was I going to say?
I'm losing my mind that we've got all these games on at different times.
I know, right? It's unbelievable. It's like everything Doogie's been talking about now for like years.
Have we ever had 4 games at the Ice House in one weekend? I can't remember having 2 games in a day at the Ice House. And that happens twice this weekend.
Oh, I actually didn't even realize that.
I haven't. I can't recall if it's ever happened before.
I saw the Mustangs earlier today put out a little statement just confirming with their fans that there's once the game's over that they have to clear out, that there'd be no hanging around in the bar. So that's first for me in a handful of years.
Yeah, I think some of the fans won't be overly excited about that, not being able to hang around and chat with the players and all that, because that's become a bit of a tradition at the Mustangs. Is that right, Doogie?
Yeah, it has. Yep. Down beside the tunnel, or just outside of the tunnel.
But yeah, double headers on both days. It's crazy talk.
Andrew John Egan just throwing a few barbs here from the cheap seats. The rink needs time to disinfect the seats for us. Phil Taylor. Oh no, it's the same one. Someone posted another comment. It's like the old days of Saturday Arvo footy. Paul Finesse watching as many as possible. Tory Diver suggesting to take that fan engagement outside. And John Egan getting our eyeballs, and Corey Coutina is going to use the holiday weekend to try and get a lot of the games in. So
I want to know, guys, what is your game you're most looking forward to this weekend?
Well, I've got the Brave and the North Stars on Saturday. I think it's massive, and I think it's going to be a really good hockey game. But on the Saturday also, I won't be in Melbourne. I'll be up in Gosford, so I'm going to shoot over and watch the Rhinos v the Bears. So they're the 2 games for me because I've never been to Erina Ice Arena. So I'm looking forward to watching some hockey there.
So you get to go see the A-League Grand Final plus the Rhinos. Mate, That's a weekend and a half. Love it.
Absolutely.
As a North Stars fan, naturally that game is high on my list. And a small stat that I got from our very dear friend Tristan was in the last 10 games, the Brave have won 6 to the North Stars 4. So with the Brave making their turnaround last weekend, I think this will be a challenge for us, and especially with them wanting to make their way up the ladder and will want to retain those points. I think it's going to be an exciting game, which it always is when they come up and play in our barn. So I'll be interested to see how they go. And Sunday North Stars versus Bears, that's another challenge. So I think the North Stars guys really have to dig deep and push through those 2.
What about you, Gordon?
I'm picking Adelaide Adrenaline Melbourne Ice on Sunday, 1 o'clock. I think that's going to be a really cool game. I think that both goaltenders, Ryland Toth and Tatsunoshi Nishida, are going to be great. I think I don't think Adelaide, again, I've been saying this every week, but I don't think Adelaide's position in the standings has been reflective of their play. And I really think they can push the Melbourne Ice.
Yeah, that's a good call. Well, I must admit, my game that I'm really looking forward to, I will be attending the Brave Ice Dogs game on Sunday, and that should be a lot of fun. I always love it when the Ice Dogs come down to play. But I think my go-to game this weekend will be that Bears North Stars game, because this is like top of one conference versus one of the challengers or the other, who is currently top of the other. So it's just, again, another blockbuster. It will really give a good indication of how the North Stars are going compared to the Bears. And yeah, should be fun.
Just briefly wrapping up some comments. Pete Lambert providing some context. This is the first time multiple games at O'Brien Icehouse outside of finals because of more games and gather round in the AFL. Thank you for that info. We've got some North Stars love. North Stars and Brave seems to be popular. Rhinos, Bears as well. Jordan Bischoff and Corey Katina. He's going to take in the Ice Games. Adelaide Mustangs, North Stars, Bears. Paul Finesse, the Adrenaline Stangs. Yeah, that'll be a good contest. And Jordan Bischoff is going to the North Stars game, though. I assume that's North Stars Brave game, unless you're traveling to Sydney. And then Natasha Denton has the weekend. Footy Friday night, hockey Saturday and Sunday nights. Yeah. And Thunder Up from Jeffrey. Any final thoughts, peeps, before we go off into the sunset?
Just what Big Ice Pete was saying about the gather round there, GG. It was something that you brought up on one of our weekly wraparound shows. You had that idea for the A-Dub. So it'd be interesting to see, and I'm sad in a way that I won't be there at Melbourne, but it'd be interesting to see what sort of atmosphere is around the Ice House, and if they can, if it's a big success, like it could be something that's on the cards just every single season, have like a bit of a festival atmosphere.
Yeah, it's kind of like finals, right? Like that's what we get at finals, is that festival atmosphere at the Ice House. So yeah, why not extend that at other times?
Yeah, because our idea for the A-Dub was do the games on Saturday and then Sunday hold like a 3-on-3 all-star style kind of event, fan activation stuff for kids, like and families. But yeah, with 10 teams, I know it's a little bit more complex and you need multiple, venues that can seat large crowds. So, but one day, maybe. Yeah, Magic Round from Phil Taylor. Thanks for the show, folks. Go North Stars. For once you said my last name correct, Jordan Bischoff. I'm going to forget how I said it, and now I'm going to be saying it like the other way, being like, oh, that must be... Anyway, thank you. It's a problem I have. Is that it, guys?
Yeah, thanks for another great week.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us. Thank you for all your comments in the chat and the audience. If you're not already following us on YouTube, Dookie loves the fact that the subscriber count went up last week and messages in the chat with updates all the time. Please keep him happy. It's his birthday. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube. We will chuck out a thing about the photographers, the 20 photographers in the AIHL, where to follow them on socials. If they have businesses, it would be great to support the photographers. We could not tell the stories of this sport without them. In the meantime, enjoy the 10 games of hockey this weekend. If you've got any questions, send them through. We'll see if we can address them. Otherwise, leave them in the chat next week. We will try to be here next week. We've got the Who one for the stars for the week. Maybe we could introduce that as being, we announced that on the show, because I know we put as 11:59 Wednesday is the deadline for voting. But yes, Tori, good point. We will release that tomorrow, but maybe we do that in future shows. But that's it from us. Click like, subscribe, whatever you have to do. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Give us a rating. In the meantime,
all your friends.
Tell all your friends. And yes, enjoy the hockey. We'll see you later.
See ya.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.